Good morning, guys. It is currently 9:40 a.m. on Tuesday, the 91st day I'm doing this. And last night I was on a phone call until 10 p.m., but as soon as it was over, I had got ready for bed the night, before that. And so I turned on the meditation, the phone was plugged in, and I woke up at 5:44 this morning. And I decided to try something different, and I went in my rocking chair. And so I did my meditations on my rocking chair. And I tried to feel my body and let my body rock when it wanted to rock. And I pushed my feet against the wall, just sensory stuff, I guess. Grounding stuff. And so I did that, and I did 3 tappings. And I still had the old programming trying to tell me, do you really need to do all this? And it was this is filling my brain. This is giving me, setting myself up for success, right? And after doing that, I still had 10 minutes, I think. And then I posted in my Facebook group, and then I think I had 10 minutes, and I was like, you know what? Let's wake up. Oh, and I also did my language practice. And then I said, let's do 10 push-ups and 10 crunches before we go downstairs. So I did all of that, before I went downstairs. And then I hung out with my daughter. I drank water. I worked on the puzzle a bit, and did my puzzle process after she left. And I felt emotion coming up, and I did not want to do it, to be honest, but I took a shower, and in the shower the tears came, and I reminded myself, this is the perfect time to be doing this. I'm grieving. This is natural. This is normal. And it wasn't out of control, it wasn't, there's nothing wrong. It's just that I'm still learning that that's safe to do. And I don't know if you've heard of IFS or parts work, but we all have them. So it's interesting how there's still the stigma to talking about it, but it's everybody has them, just not everybody acknowledges that they do, So I reminded myself of that, and the part was saying I don't want to do this anymore, but not in a defeatist, but in a burnt out, and so I reminded that part that I hear you, and it helps to just be there and provide that space. So I had to remind myself of that. And I also reminded myself that just when I lay down and the lights are on, and the blinds are open, if I still fall asleep, that means my body desperately needs that sleep. And it's the same way, I think, with emotion, assuming it's an appropriate time and place, is if I've got happy music on and I'm moving forward and it comes up, it's supposed to come up, Because the facts are I just basically ignored it for the past 3 days, So more awareness. And I'm being brave and talking about it because I want to help people that this is actually healthy and normal. I feel like anger, expressions of anger is so much more tolerated and allowed in society, when crying literally hurts no one and is a natural thing. It's a release. It's just mind-boggling to me how backwards that is. So this is my my contribution to normalize it, that it's not only okay, it's a natural reaction, and especially if you've had a lot of trauma, you're releasing it. You really are releasing it. And so that being said, that part went from kind of digging into its heels and we're not going to do anything today, to kind of appreciating that I'm respecting it. And so I'm still, moving forward. I'm not feeling awesome, but I'm, doing what I can. So, that being said, I am going to do a body doubling session because I like to do them, meaning they actually are good for me and they're good for other people and they're effective and they're productive. And that's what I want to do. So I drank probably 50 ounces of water so far. And like I said, whatever I said I already accomplished, I did that. But I think it's really important to remind yourself that how you feel in one moment might not necessarily be how you feel all day, especially if you let yourself feel it, right? Like, that's something I'm still working on personally. But to even have compassion for that, of like, of course this is hard. Of course this doesn't come naturally to me. It's just like, oh, you know? And I just, the more I research and the more I'm just exposed to, like academically, this is the right thing to do. So it's just a matter of past programming, But that doesn't make it right, like meaning ethically right, and it also doesn't make it accurate. So I hope this is helpful for you. And yeah, I'm going to, I think, drink probably 20 more ounces of water and then do the body doubling. And I think I'm going to do, I'm not sure, maybe I'll work on meal planning or something during it, but it would just be good to still carve out that time, because there's something that feels very helpless when we're being bombarded by demands, expectations, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to go into shutdown mode is my point. If you were like, if I could just get it out and, if I could just release a bit, then I would feel better. That's what I'm trying to provide and demonstrate. So that being said, I think my hope sign is downstairs, and that's okay. And I was reluctant to post because, and then I said, this is the best way you can show people authenticity, is even if we're low energy, even if we're having a hard time, we're still valuable, we still can provide value. And there's nothing wrong with spending the day in the bed if that's what you actually want to do. But if it's happening because of other things, I find that it helps to fight against that, basically. So, yeah. Okay, love you guys.